Hi, in this particular video, I'll be showing you how to working on that previous assignment we have done in the classroom. If you if you didn't do it very well, it's a good opportunity to take a look at it again and understand how you can make this thing work. Okay, so basically, I required you to solve it in three different ways. So I'm going to show you the first way of doing it, which is using um, a what if analysis. What if analysis here, data table. We need to do some preparations before we can go ahead and use this tool. Okay, the first thing, let's complete our first table right here. And we are purchasing a sailboat, and the price is 67,000. And the down payment I can pay right now is 15,000, and I'm paying it in over 7 years of span, and the interest rate, which is annual interest rate, is 8.50. So the loan amount is, of course, loan amount equals to, you always put equal sign whenever you enter a formula. The loan amount is the actual price minus your down payment. This is simple. C5 minus C4. And your monthly payment, you need to use PMT formula to come up with your monthly payment. So in this particular formula, we need to use three different factors. Okay, this is the formula dialog box. You can call it out. Okay, it will pop up. It will let you input your factors from this dialog box. If you're not familiar with this formula, this is a good idea to using this dialog box. Okay, right here. Okay, so we know that our annual interest rate is 8.50%. We need to come up with the monthly interest rate, which is divided by 12. Okay, because we know that there is a cell contains the information about the interest rate. Therefore, we will not use the number 8.50 here. Instead, we are using the coordinate of the cell, which is C7 here, to replace the actual 8.50%. So whatever changes happens here, the change is going to automatically reflect it to the calculation we do here. The same thing is with the number of payment here. So the total year is 7 year. So the total number of months is 7 times 12, which is 6 times 12. And the present value is the actual amount of money we owe from the bank, which in our case is the loan amount. So just put loan amount. So if you take a look at this formula, we are actually getting um, amount of money we owe to our bank. In our case is 52,000. If we are to pay it back in total 7 years, which is 84 months, and in an annual interest rate of 8.50%, which in turn monthly interest rate is this. Okay, and what is going to be our monthly payment? What is going to be our monthly payment? So we are seeing this negative amount here. Okay, negative amount here. That's because the PMT function is going to return us with a negative value. Therefore, okay, with the completion of the dialog box, make sure you put a minus symbol in front of this formula just to turn the amount into positive from negative. Okay, so we know that our monthly payment is going to be 823.50 with all these conditions. Okay, let's move on to next. Okay, we know that we are going to use what if analysis table tool here. Okay, the data table tool here, and in order to do so, we need to have all these formulas we are going to be using in first row, and then we need to lay out all these different values we are going to replacing from row by row in this column. Okay, so let's lay down our formulas first. So you can either decide to write all these formulas all over again, or you can either decide to referencing these formulas from this particular cell. So you can, in my case, I'll just referencing formulas I'll be using from this position. Okay. So how do you get monthly payment? You remember we have entire formula, completed formula written in C9 cell. Therefore, I will just reference C9 cell from F4 cell. Okay, so in this case, because we have referenced the content in the C9 cell, so whatever thing happened in all these cells, which C9 cell is referencing, the change is automatically reflected to C9 cell. In turn, it will reflect it into F4 cell, which is very convenient. I'll try to change it, okay? I'll change it to 7%. You see the change reflected to here. It also reflected to here, okay? Let me go back by pressing Ctrl Z. Okay, and what's the total cost? Total cost, okay, there's two ways you can calculate it. Of course, total cost is going to be monthly payment times number of payment, 12, plus your initial down payment. Okay, so the first half is actually the amount of money you actually paid to your bank. This includes your loan amount, also includes your interest money, and you have to add up your initial down payment to get your total cost. So this is going to be the total cost when you buy a boat. Okay, when you buy a sailboat, your down payment is this much and the price is this much. And if you're paying back in 7 years, your interest rate is this much. Okay, and how do you get the total interest? How do you get total interest here? How do you calculate pure interest money here? Okay, again, you can calculate it like this: times 12. This will be the pure. This is going to be the exact amount of money you paid it to your bank in 7 years. Okay, this including the interest money. Therefore, we need to deduct our loan amount, which is the exact amount of money we owe to our bank. So this is your total interest. This is your total interest. I think this is correct. Okay, I think this is correct. Okay, so you have all these preparations finished, and only thing you need is to apply this. Okay, you need to apply this, and what if analysis data table? What we do here is to kind of specify what is the value you are going to replace. Where is this sets of value you are going to replace? Okay, so we know this column. This column contains the sets of value we are going to replace with interest rate here. Okay, which is C7. Okay, which is C7, and press OK, and boom, it's going to help you to calculate automatically with all these different sets of value. So okay, apply dollar sign here, and we're done with this very first scenario. Okay, so you need to know. Okay, let me add one more explanation here. Okay, I think I have used analogy of revolver. Okay, revolver pistol. Okay, so here this value, you are calculating all these values. Okay, row by row, by replacing this interest. Okay, interest value. So in this calculation, where where is the value located? Where is the cell? What is the cell that you are going to replacing with this value? Obviously this is the interest rate. Therefore, okay, that's the reason why we have, okay, let's do it again. That's the reason why we have specified F4 here, C7 here, C7 here as the value we are going to replace when we do the calculation for each row. Okay, so basically that the first column, first row here and first column here is serving as the type of template formula and template value here. Okay, so we have the first way completed. Okay, so let me try to complete it with the second way, which is naming the cell. Okay, naming the cell. Um, you can start a new document, you can start a new workbook, or you can generate a copy just like I am doing now. Okay, create a copy and within this workbook and press OK. And we see that there's a second worksheet appeared here. And I'm going to correct it to naming um, cell name. Okay, and I'm going to rename it, double click, rename it to data table. Okay, okay. So I'm going to work from here. And uh, I'm going to remove all these. I'm going to remove all these. The one thing, okay, it doesn't. You need to clear the contents here. And okay, um, okay. So I explained that the data table is not one of the most commonly used techniques in Excel. Okay, unless you are a super advanced user that you know inside out about Excel. But typically, we would not use data table. We would not use what if analysis. It is not I am discouraging you from using what if analysis. It's just in daily living. Okay, if you are just an average user in Excel. The odds is that you're not going to be using the what if analysis very often. Instead, you'll be just like me. You'll be using this in regular basis. You would have to do it in a different way. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to use this cell naming thing. Okay, here, if you turn it into formula mode, we are using um, cell coordinates to come up with our formulas. I explained it many times. This probably is not the most intuitive way to do that. Okay, this is not the most intuitive way to do that, and therefore we are going to name our cells. Okay, we're going to name our cells so that in later phase when we do the calculation, our calculation is much more intuitive because we're going to be using cell names instead of the cell coordinate. Okay, so okay, let's turn it back. Um, let me name all these cells. Okay, let me name all these cells. Let's go to formula and create our name from selection. And make sure you have selected it. Okay, I'm going to do it again. Make sure you have selected all these like this and create from selection. It means that we are going to create names for these data in column C, okay, with what's on the column B. Okay, so the name of this C4 is going to be whatever value now in B4. Okay, so we're no longer using C4 to representing the value stored in this location. Instead of we will be using down payment to represent the name, represent the value stored in this cell. So we're gonna use left column to create name for the values in the right column. That's what it does. Okay, so let's check here. Okay, we have a list of names here. Okay, let's do calculation again. Where you call PMT involves three different factors. So rate, so interest rate, obviously. So what's the name we used here for interest rate? So I think we have used interest rate here. Just start typing, you'll see there are two different type of icons. The first type is function, okay, formulas. Second type here is the label, okay? It's actually the name we have just created. So, okay, and second factor is the number of payment. So I guess it's years, of course, times 12. And third factor is the loan amount. Okay, loan amount is selected. Okay, so you see we are doing the same thing here. Okay, here we got the same value. And how do you calculate total cost? So total cost is going to be the monthly payment, okay, times years and times 12 plus your down payment. And let me see why it has the same value here. It probably used. Okay. Yeah, I shouldn't be using interest rate here, okay? Instead, I should be using. I should have used. I should have used what's on the E5, which is 6.50. You see, we are calculating different amount of monthly payment based on this particular interest rate instead of this interest rate right here. Okay, so okay, it's the same thing here. We are not using monthly payment. I'm confused. I'm sorry. We're not using monthly payment here. Instead of we are using monthly payment amount here. Okay, except this rest of the values we can use um, those cells. Okay, with the total interest equals to monthly payment times your years times 12 minus your initial uh, down payment. I'm sorry, this is loan amount. I'm sorry, loan amount. Okay, in doing so, I think we're just one step away from completed version of this particular part of the assignment, which is using the cell naming techniques. Okay, let's proceed to the third, which is the least intuitive way of doing this thing. Okay, let's copy uh, another one and rename it to dollar sign, dollar sign. Okay, dollar sign. So let's remove all these things again. Okay, clear contents. Let's go back here. Let's yeah, before we do this, let's go back here and take a look at this. Turn it to formula mode. You see, we have used loan amount, the name of the cell, to represent whatever value is on the C6. Okay, therefore the formula here looks pretty intuitive. Pretty intuitive. Okay, but I would say still this is the way for advanced user. Okay, if you are a average Excel user, probably won't think that far, okay, to try to name a cell, okay? What you typically will do is this way of approaching things, okay? So let's do it. Let me do it again. Um, Let me do it again. Okay. Um, Remove this. Clear contents. Okay. When I calculate your loan amount, of course, one way you can do is you can price minus down payment, right? You can do down payment. But there's another way to do that, okay, which is less intuitive way to do that, is C5 minus what? C4, okay? And you can always do that. Monthly payment, for monthly payment, without using cell names, you can do it like minus PMT, interest rate. I'm sorry, it's going to be C7 divided 12. The number of payment is C6 times 12, and your down payment is going to be your loan amount is going to be stored in C8. This is the way you would do that. Okay, this is the way you would do that, and you would do the same for the ones in the C in for this row. Okay, for this row. So what you would do is minus PMT. Interest rate is in the CE5 divided 12. Number of payment is in C6. It won't be changing, but for now we'll just enter C6. Okay. Present value. Present value is, okay, what's the present value we're talking here? Okay, present value is loan payment. Sorry, loan payment is C8. Okay, C8. We got it here. Yeah, I forgot to times 12. Okay. And the total cost we're seeing here is monthly payment times number of years times 12 minus your loan amount. And your, sorry, keep making mistakes. This is going to be our down payment, okay? I'm going to put coordinate here, C4. So people, there's a reason that I'm not using names here, okay? I should have used C6 here. There's a reason I'm not using names here, okay? So I'm going to explain later if you don't understand what I'm doing, why I'm doing this. Okay. Here, total cost is going to be monthly payment times number of years times 12, okay? And minus your loan amount. This is going to be your total interest. Okay. The reason why I did not use already named cells, okay, think in reverse. So, would you thought about naming the cells when you starting to working on this particular assignment first time in your life? Okay. Okay. We have this calculation now, and if you're familiar with filling function in Excel, you know that you don't have to type line by line. You don't have to type by row. All you need to do is just drag it, okay? Just like we have done it in the second assignment, second part of this assignment. So you do it like this, okay? But as you can see it here, this is a whole mess, okay? This is a whole mess. Let's take a look what really happened here, okay, real quick. Okay, you'll soon discover that as we drag it, as we fill those in terms of the series, okay, a couple of things changed. Okay, so here we are calculating monthly payment based on this interest rate. Okay, we understand the first factor is the interest rate divided by 12, and C6 is actually the amount of money, is a number of payment, a number of years. So C6 is 7, this is correct, but C7 is not. C7 is, actual value in C7 is the interest rate. You can see that this is actually shift a little bit, okay, by 1. It's also the same in this line, also the case for this line, okay? So we understand all these errors happen because the ranges has been shifted, okay? Is there any way we can prevent the ranges from shifting? Of course, yeah. The one way to prevent ranges from shifting is actually using the name, like here. You see, if you have used name, the ranges won't shift. This is one advantage by using a cell naming function. Okay, another way to do that is putting a dollar sign. Putting a dollar sign to have an absolute reference instead of relative reference. This way of referencing thing, we really call it as relative referencing. In relative referencing scenario, when you drag it, the ranges usually shift. we know that there are some values, some coordinate need to be shifted. For example, like this interest rate need to be shifted from line by line, but there are certain values we just don't want them to be shifted. Okay, let's go back and correct those. See if that will make difference. For example, C5 is okay. C6. Okay, let's make an absolute referencing some like this. This is absolute referencing, and it will not shift you when you drag it if you lock it down like this. Also, C8 is the down is the loan amount. It should not be changed. Okay, we have corrected it. And take a look at this. F5, it's okay. It needs to be shifted because when we calculate line by line, the monthly payment should actually be differ by line. And C6, what is C6? Is number of years, so it should not be changed. C4, what is C4? C4 is the down payment. It should not be changed, so we'll put dollar sign, okay? And you can leave it as is, or you can go back and change it. Dollar sign, C, dollar sign, 6. Okay, that's the year. And loan amount is stored in dollar C dollar 8. Okay. Now with all these measures put in, if you drag it, you will get the exactly the same results which you have got with all these previous occasions. Okay, so this is 3 different way of completing this particular assignments. Okay, using data table function. Okay, this is super advanced way of doing it, and this is cell naming. This is somehow advanced way of doing this. Okay, there is most commonly used way of doing things, including involving absolute referencing. Okay, so you need to able to complete this assignment in 3 different ways. Okay, thank you.